All right, how do you think the Nick Griffin speech went tonight?
Well, without commenting on the content, because I wasn't listening thoroughly to be sure, I think the event went off without disruption that would preclude two-way communication. I think there was dissent, to be sure, there was protest, to be sure, but the event lasted the 2 hours it was scheduled for, and I thought the behaviors were appropriate for a heated discussion, and I think the fact that it was allowed to go on for 2 hours and the fact that the content was content that was very, very heated, that this is the kind of event, and I'm talking logistically only, the kind of way the marketplace can be tested hard, tested throughout an auditorium, but the behaviors did not result in any arrest, any injuries, and I'm sure this won't be the last one, but I think we're learning a lot about, maybe not the content, but we're learning a lot about the process.
What about the fire alarm that got pulled at about 8:30?
Yeah, it's very inappropriate for a fire alarm to be pulled in any situation, especially in a medical facility. And I'm disappointed that somebody would try to preclude an event, no matter for what reason, by pulling a fire alarm. It's also breaking the law.
Yeah, I mean, this was after the most of the protesters did just stand up at one point and just leave, right?
Yeah, and I have no idea who did it, and I'm not going to place any blame. But whoever did it, it was inappropriate.
Now, standing next to Mr. Griffin most of the night was a fellow Preston Wigington, who YAF Watch has established is tied to skinhead groups and various ones, and he was the organizer of both apparently this event, the event in Texas, and most likely the event in Clemson. What is your opinion on having someone like him at the university as regard to student safety?
Yeah, the presence of someone doesn't necessarily indicate that something bad or good is going to happen. I do think that a moderating role should be told ahead of time, and that we should know who is participating in the event. We did know that Mr. Griffin was participating, but I think the Speaker's policy allows for a moderator, but that moderator can't be somebody who violates any of the tenets of the spirit or the letter of the free and open marketplace.
So, Young American Freedom, did they tell you that Mr. Wigington would be there in a moderating role?
I don't know if they did or didn't, to be honest with you. They didn't tell me, but I don't know what prior notice of his presence or his role was.
Okay, is it required, if there is going to be like a moderator who serves a big role as he did, like fielding questions, would that be required in like the activity planning form? Is that required that they tell who would be doing such a role?
No, I think there are rules and regulations regarding a forum such as this, and one of those is knowing who the speakers are going to be. I'm not exactly sure how I would characterize his role or his performance, to be sure. But I do think if it had been anybody there to preclude or to inhibit exchange of ideas rather than to encourage exchange of ideas as a moderator, then that would be a problem.
All right. Now, today at the Board of Trustees meeting, Failing Owen proposed that during the November meeting of the board, they write a statement that would condemn Mr. Griffin and what he's basically presented in his past views on such things as the Holocaust. Do you know if that has been progressing or what has happened in that time?
I don't know. I was at the board meeting and I heard Trustee Owen say that, and I think communications from the board as an entity and as individual members have to come from the board.
All right. How did the MSU administration brief the board before the meeting about the upcoming event, and were they briefed?
Right. The board members were familiar with all events here that have received publicity, or the board is owed information from the administration because they hear from other people. So they were indeed made aware of the nature of the speaker, of the content, and of the publicity in advance.
Okay, now, again, and going on that, early, before the event, it was sent to the DPPS and yourself that Preston Wigington might have been involved within this.
Yes.
Was that, and there was, you know, and his past history of being anti-Semitic racist was brought up. Was that information conveyed to the board before the board meeting?
I don't know specific information that was conveyed to the board, but I do know that that information was conveyed to various other places and especially to DPPS. And the board was briefed, but I wasn't at the briefing, so I can't comment.